America's shrinking workforce, a puzzle for economists. The U.S. economy is suffering from a labor shortage, posing a difficult puzzle for economists and policymakers to solve. Americans are quitting their current jobs at a record pace. The Labor Department showed data that quits increased to 4.3 million in August, the highest on record dating back to December 2000. A Gallup survey discovered that 48% of the working population in the United States is actively looking for a new job or watching for opportunities. The ongoing labor shortage is the single most significant threat to America's economic recovery. According to the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, the nation's biggest business lobbying group, Congress should drop the multi-millionaire dollar tax and spend proposals that would further undermine the economy and focus on getting Americans back to work and helping employers fill open jobs, the business group said in a statement. Yesterday, I saw an article. Kai, I send it to you. I don't know if you have it with you or not. Yesterday, there was this article that Mark Cuban tweeted out. Do you have that? Can you put that article up? I sent it to you in a group text with me, you, and Mario. I'll text it to you right now as well. Matter of fact, I'm going to send it to your iPad. I'm sending it to you right now if you see it. Yeah, the crypto story. Put that up there for people to see. Very interesting what Mark Cuban put up about crypto. Very, very interesting what Mark Cuban put up on crypto. If you can put that story up, Kai. Crypto is creating newfound wealth and job freedom for many Americans. Okay.
Yeah.
So check this out. By the way, when we bought the Bitcoin,
Yes.
How much did we buy the Bitcoin originally for?
50,000. 1.5 Bitcoin, 50,000.
At $32,000.
Yes.
And we gave it to you when? We gave it to you a week ago or 2 weeks ago?
2 weeks ago.
What price was it when we gave you that money, cash?
94,000.
We gave you $94,000. We transferred over to him. So
The
this-
Bitcoin was 62,300 at that day.
when we gave it, we bought it at 32. We gave it to him at 62. So instead of giving Ricky only $50,000 in Bitcoin, he got $95,000 in his account last. We gave you a Bitcoin and a half.
Yes,
okay,
Bitcoin and a
Bitcoin and a half. Okay, so now watch this. Watch this here. Watch this here. Watch this article here. Okay. Whether you invested in cryptocurrency or understand what it is, there's no denying that over the last year it has demonstrated staying power. In Bitcoin, for instance, as of time of writing, is valued at $61,000 per Bitcoin, skyrocketing nearly 50%, while some preconception of cryptocurrency invested young and tech-savvy individuals, possibly anti-establishment, might say the bigger picture of crypto is a little more nuanced. Okay, so here's what it goes to. This is the next sentence that's the key. For instance, while crypto wealth is undoubtedly growing, that doesn't necessarily mean any significant portion of people are quitting their jobs as a result. 11% of the general population reports either having personally quit their jobs or knowing someone who has as a result of their crypto investments. So Mark Cuban is saying another reason why people quit is because they made so much money in crypto right now that they're just kind of sitting there saying, I'm not a guy. But he's saying do the opposite. This doesn't mean you're wealthy officially. It just means one of your investments did well. You should go back to your work and do your job. Anyways, I'll pause. Your thoughts on the shrinking workforce, a puzzle for economists. Tom, I'm going to come to you first.
Yeah, what's going on right here is you got to take a look at the service economy. Who is screaming loudest about labor shortage? Restaurants, retail stores that are opened again, regardless whether it's a red or blue state. You can only have a few
Hospitality.
people. Hospitality, it's all there. And those are the people that were getting assistance. They were getting the checks from the government for assistance, and they were certain unemployment assistance was coming from their individual states. And so what it showed you, when we only have, when this all started, we were at very low unemployment,
Right.
which means we had a very low supply of workers. You screw with that supply even a little bit, it wreaks havoc. And now what you see is the service economy is looking for people. I saw the Dunkin' Donuts, and this was not a meme. This was really a Dunkin' Donuts. Hey, please be patient. Come on in. We'll get to you. And if you don't like the service, maybe you'd like a job application. Their point was we need somebody to serve you the donut. So that's number one. And then number two, with the unemployment, you don't have to mess very much with your labor bases. And maybe it is a little bit of crypto, a little bit of an up market. And I think we don't appreciate just what a wonderful engine the American economy was. And we have taken a little bit of unemployment in there over COVID impact. And now coming back with assistance programs, you don't have to take much off the top of labor to create a massive shortage. And I think a difficult puzzle for economists and policymakers. Maybe you guys need to get out a little more. Maybe you're at home eating DoorDash. All you got to do is walk down Main Street of any mid-size city and take a look. There are active now, like little help wanted signs in
Yeah, there's a lot.
on the windows. And I'm like, why is there a help wanted sign on the window? They can all the job things, monster.com and everything, they're online. But that's what I'm saying. I'm saying you didn't need to mess very much with the labor base in America to pinch a whole lot of industries that desperately need workers.
Yeah, I'll echo what he says, and then maybe a few other things. Gallup poll. I mean, sometimes when you're being polled, do you actually give an honest answer? So I always put a little margin in there for some discrepancy with that. The empowerment that employees have right now, it's so easy to quit a job.
Yeah.
And they feel so empowered. Go on strike. Someone else will hire you. The government will give you money.
Yeah.
I mean, I find it troubling, to be honest with you, how powerful employees think they are. I think it's great. You know, if you have it, use it, but whatnot. But it's just getting a little weird and a little imbalanced. Yeah. Another one of the factors is baby boomers dying. I mean, there's a legitimacy to that. Because more baby boomers have died in the last 2 years that were working. Yeah. That's going to skew this a little bit. And the last thing is automation. You know, there's a lot of businesses and industries that are going deep on automation. So you combine all those things that Tom said, some of these factors, these numbers, and the pandemic, and we got a problem.
Well, a lot of people, look, we just got a letter yesterday, 2 days ago. They're giving the third stimulus. Like, me and Erica, we don't cash out on them. Third stimulus. Oh, do here to apply. Bro, everybody's getting these letters. They're giving away.
Ricky got his stimulus last week. That Bitcoin.
That Bitcoin
and a half.
But what I'm getting is they're not done giving stimulus. Why would I go back to work?
Yeah.
It makes no sense to go back to work. So the shortage on top of, Tom obviously is very wise when it comes down to this. But I'm getting a letter for a third time for a stimulus check. A third time. And I just got it 2 days ago. Why would I go back to work? All I got to do is pay my bills for, like a lot of these guys. And I even asked people, how did you do it? They gave me the stimulus. I paid my rent for 6 months. I kept a little money, and I'm surviving off of that. Oh, and then they're not paying their rent, by the way. Some of them are not paying their rent.
Yeah,
because now
months,
you can, so they're sitting on this money, the majority of them, that is going to let them get through for the next, 8 to 10 months.
I have a
Stimulus is like COVID boosters. We're going to have the third, the fourth, the fifth. It's not going to stop.
Found another
And by the way,
variant out there.
I think you make a really good point, Ricky, because 1 year, who's freaking out right now on terms of political strategy? Democrats are freaking out right now. There's a whole thing going on there.
Beautiful.
So if we think these stimulus checks are going to stop as long as they control the three houses, the three branches, I think we're missing something. I think we're going to see stimulus all the way through the midterms because it's going to be like candy to the voters.
I don't know, Tom. I have at this table, I have a very minority opinion on this. I know already. Stimulus is nothing new. 40 acres and a mule is nothing new. Manifest Destiny is nothing new. There's always been an incentive. The government pays people to go do whatever it wants to do, right? So if they want to stimulate...
That's not the way it's happening right now, bro.
Sure, understood. But nothing's happening the way that it's ever happened before. Technology is different. It's a great point.
George,
That's what I'm leading
But
into.
just remember, 40% of the money that's ever been printed in the United States, as Pat has pointed out several times, has happened in the last 20 months.
Yes.
Understood. Completely. But here's the thing.
Big stacks right now.
You brought up Dunkin' Donuts before, right? If I'm working at Dunkin' Donuts and it's $12.75 an hour, all right, and I'm looking at a iced coffee being sold for $5.50, I'm saying to myself, an hour of my life is only worth 2 freaking iced coffees? No, it's the gig more than crypto. Which, by the way, one of the first podcasts I did, crypto was tanking. You were kind of making fun of me for crypto. You're like, you're gonna sell? I was like, absolutely not. I buy the dip, and then So I mean, I
remember that, but okay.
I'm sure our guy at PVD Podcast Instagram can find it. But there's. Crypto is the future, especially when we get into the metaverse. Crypto is the present. It's not even the future. And it's more than crypto. It's the gig economy, where the young generation is not getting married. They're not having kids. They're not buying houses, right? You talked about rent. Half these guys it's okay. Like, remember back in the day, Chris Farley had that great segment. If you don't do this, you'll be smoking the reefer and living in a van.
Matt Foley, living in a van down by the river.
Hashtag van lifestyle is a whole thing. People, they get these vans and they deck them out, and it's called mini living, and they do this thing. The young generation understands that their time is worth something to them, and it's not $12.75. What the businesses, especially these massive, large chains, have not figured out is how to attract that employee. And I think
I
it's
don't
not
think that'll
money.
be the solution.
I don't think it's the money. I honestly think it's the hours. I think that the first person that goes, I'm going to pay your rent and you're only going to have to work 4 hours a week, for those people that don't want to be massive millionaires.
Then the business is not sustainable. No, I think this is the only route on what those companies are going to be doing. Here's exactly what those companies are going to be doing. they're going to stop trying to get those young guys to work for them. They're going to automate every single thing, and they're going to say, no problem, buddy. You don't want to work for $12.50, which is a minimum wage? It's not really that. It doesn't take that much to flip a burger, bud. You don't want to be a barista for $15 an hour? Totally fine. We'll automate all of this. Eventually, it'll be automated.
Capitalism will win.
Short term, the employers win. Long term, the employees win short term. The employer wins long term.
Sure.
Because the employers also, if any time you're looking for a solution, here's how this works. You can sit there and say, well, dude, screw it. I'm just going to go out there and do this. You're right. Every time I've done that as a human being, I made a short-term decision, and it was successful for a month, 3 months, 6 months, 12 months. Long-term, it was not successful.
Correct.
These decisions, what you're talking about, could be short-term success. It's going to be catastrophic long-term because the math doesn't make sense. So if you enjoyed this little short segment from the podcast that we did, here's another short segment to watch. Or if you want to see the entire podcast, click over here. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.